Hi guys. This is the last week we're adding final touches to our writing drafts because next week we get to publish our pieces and we'll finish up and celebrate next week our small moment stories. Some things that you might want to think about adding to your story would be some dialogue, so your characters talking. My example is. It's a wonderful day on the beach, Grandpa said. And so I could add that somewhere in my story to kind of bring my characters to life, to bring my grandpa so you can picture him talking. Here are some rules you want to think about whenever you are doing punctuation for your quotes. Okay. You see these little flying things on each side. I have them here too. Those are called quotation marks, and those start where your talking starts, and then they end where your speaker stops talking. Okay, just like I did up here with my example. So this is exactly what he said, and then I ended it, and then on the side I tell you who was talking. All right, some things to think about is always start with a capital letter. That's just common practice with what we do when we start sentences anyway. Make sure that you end your talking with a punctuation. Same thing, kind of similar to what we do anyway when we're writing, when people aren't talking. Okay, and then here's where the fancy part comes in is when you add your quotation marks. Those are those flying things on either end that we just talked about. Okay. Something else I want you to do this week is to read your story as if you're a stranger, like you weren't there. So read your story as if you can pretend like you're Miss Belusic. Um, and now you put yourself in your pocket and see if you hit everything you needed to on your story for your reader to picture what is going on in your story. Okay, you want to read it like a stranger because you're an expert at your story. And remember that your reader is not quite the expert. So you have to paint that picture for them. So if you did paint that, you read your story like you're a stranger and you painted that picture for them. Awesome. Move on to this next part for me. Some of you have already written your ending to your story, but if you didn't, here are some things to think about whenever writing your ending. You can end with some sort of action or end with people talking. Your ending is an important place also to place why this story meant so much to you or why this story is important to you. Okay, let me show you a couple of examples. Come On Rain is a book written by Karen Hesse, and here's how she ended her book. I hug Mama hard, and she hugs me back. The rain made us new. Okay, so the underline there is an action for you. As the clouds move off, I trace the drips on Mama's face. Everywhere, everyone, everything is misty limbs springing back to life. Okay, so here she gave you more action, and then she also added some strong image. Okay, she didn't just say that the flowers look lively after the rain. She's saying that their misty limbs springing back to life. Okay, she painted a really big picture for you. All right. We sure did get a soaking, Mama, I say, and we head home purely soothed, fresh as dew. Okay, so here circled is some dialogue. She had her characters talking, and then right underneath that, she paints another big image for you. Okay, turning around the first sweet rays of sunshine. She reminds you why she wrote this moment, okay? And if you didn't read the book in previous lesson videos, it was about how they hadn't had rain in a really long time and how it just simply rained. Okay, so she's telling you that the sweet rays of the sun, um, that's it brings back the meaning of the story. So I want you to think about whenever you're ending your story to either add some sort of action. You can add some strong image. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm looking at the boat." Maybe I'm describing the boat for you and telling you how refreshing the wind and breeze was, and that kind of thing. And then you can add some dialogue for your characters talking at the end. Okay, Down here, I have a student example of 3 different endings. Um, so she tried dialogue, she tried painting a picture, and it looks like she tried some more dialogue. Okay, so let's read these 3 possible endings just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do for your story. Wow, I thought. And see how she said I thought? So dialogue can also be for like your thoughts. It doesn't have to just be when somebody is talking. That was me. I went around half of the lake. I couldn't wait to rest my legs. I was ready to do it again. Okay, so she's ending with dialogue, but she kind of paints this picture of her doing something around the lake and her thought of I was ready to do it again. So that kind of tells you the purpose of this story, also. All right, here's the same writer, just a different ending she's tried. I walked off the boat with a smile on my face and excitement flowing through me. I couldn't wait to talk to my parents and tell them I got halfway around the lake. Okay, so she mentions this halfway around the lake, but she's also telling you her feelings inside and what she looks like when she gets off this boat. Um, she paints a good picture there for you. Here's the same author. She is trying out one more ending. Okay. Bye, I said. Thanks. I was so happy and I wanted to jump right back into the lake and do it again. I walked onto the dock and was ready to do it 50 more times. Okay. So again, she's talking, but she's also telling you how she's feeling at the end. So these are 3 great ways this student can end their writing. And so I just want you to kind of try the same thing with your writing. Try at least 2 different ways for your ending, and then choose which one you like best. Okay. Um, Last but not least, once you think that you've finished your writing, okay, so you tried out a strong ending with either dialogue, action, or like your feelings, mentioning why you wrote that story. You tried adding dialogue somewhere in your story, at least once, guys. I want to see your characters talking. It really brings them to life. After you've done those 2 things and you've done everything from previous weeks, then your draft should be ready to publish. Now, here's the last thing to do before you're ready to publish next week, which we'll talk about publishing next week. You're going to look at your small moment story and you're going to look at it with the editing checklist. And, guys, what I've done is I've made this editing checklist. A quiz. So it's not really a grade. It's just I thought it'd be simpler for you to go through this checklist in quiz form rather than trying to upload it and that kind of thing. So it's called checking my draft with the editing checklist. This is your last step before publishing next week. Okay, and this is what it looks like. I've taken the rubric that I'll be using to grade your published piece and broke it into pieces for you to check. So, this question 1 says, I wrote the beginning in which I helped the readers know the characters were. Who the characters were and what the setting is. Okay, this is your 1 day piece. So, if you did your 1 day and introduced your characters and your setting, you would click yes. If you have not done that, then you need to go back and add a lead to your story. Okay, same thing down here. Do I have transition words? And I give you examples of transition words. And guys, some of you wrote, whenever you turned in your piece last time, you wrote in a way where you had like next all the way at the top and then you had your paragraph. Guys, these words should be the first word of your paragraph when writing your story. Use it like we did when we planned out your boxes. So again, if you can say, yes, I do have transition words, great, move on to the next question. If you are, don't yet have transition words, then you need to kind of pause here and work on your writing to add those transition words. Okay, did you elaborate? Last week, we talked about ways to add your feelings, what you're seeing. You kind of use your 5 senses in order to elaborate. So I'm asking you, did you do that? Also, did you add some dialogue in your story from this week? So if your answer is yes, click yes. If no, pause and go do that. Okay, add those things. Organization, your story should be at this point should be stretched on multiple pages, and we did that whenever we started drafting a couple weeks ago. So it should be a yes, but if you only have one page right now, see if you can stretch it across those pages so that you can have room to add more. Spelling, if you spelled everything the best you could, click yes. If you didn't, click no, and then pause and go fix that. Okay, remember your proper nouns are names of people, places, and things. So make sure you capitalize those. Also, make sure you capitalize the first letter of every the beginning of your sentences. If you did that, click yes. If you click no, then pause and go do that now, please. All right, we're getting towards the end with our punctuation. So, did I punctuate dialogue correctly with commas and quotation marks? Okay, that was at the beginning of this video. So, remember, I do want at least one piece of dialogue in your story somewhere. So, at least one place where your characters are actually talking. Okay, and you show that with your quotation marks. If you did this, click yes. If you didn't, you'll click no and pause the video and go do it. Okay, now let's say that you're in the middle of this quiz and you're pausing to go fix things, then come back and click yes after you're done with that. Okay, so this quiz might take a little bit longer because I really do want you to check it. Guys, these questions are exactly how I'm grading your published piece next week. So, just make sure that you're doing this. Okay, here's another punctuation. While writing, I put punctuation at the end of each sentence. Okay, if you click yeah, if you did it, click yes. If not, go back and do it, and then you can come back and click yes. All right, just a couple more things. I wrote in a way that helped the reader with expression, reading some parts quickly, some parts slowly, and um, some parts in one sort of voice, and others in another sort of voice. So basically, you wrote in a way where you're actually telling the story. I should be able to hear your voice telling me the story as you wrote, guys, and that's adding, big letters, little letters, bold letters. That's really writing in a way as if you're talking, okay? So if you think you did this, you're going to click yes. If you haven't done this yet, you can click no, or you can stop for a minute and go make sure you've done that and add it, and then click yes. Last question is about your ending. So, this is what we talked about today. So, those of you that already had your ending before today, please go back and see if you've added an action or talking or some sort of feeling to your ending. Okay, that would make your ending work and write well. Please also remember to add, why is this story important to you in your ending? Okay, again, if you've done this, click yes, and then submit your quiz. If not, click no, and then go do that. Okay, so just a reminder, this is how I'm grading your published piece next week. That's why I just want you to check with this quiz this week. Okay, so after you're finished watching this video, go check your writing and compare it to this checklist quiz, and then let me know if you have any questions or anything. You can just join my live. Thanks, guys. You have a wonderful day.